What's up everybody, Soldier First Class here, and today we're going to be doing something new on the channel, and something that I hope we'll be doing weekly. We're going to be doing a top 5 video today, and today's topic is the top 5 weapons of Final Fantasy. Now we're going to be going over some iconic weapons throughout the series, and some of their other appearances, and the features that make these weapons so iconic. Thank you for watching, and enjoy. Number 5, Excalibur, Final Fantasy series. I found it difficult when making this list to pick which version of Excalibur I wanted to use. There's the Excalibur from Final Fantasy IX, where you have to get certain items from the Trino auction house, and a series of mini-quests to obtain the blade. But also, you can find an upgraded version called the Excalibur 2, but it requires you to get to the final area of Memoria, the game's final area, in under 12 hours to obtain it. There's the version where Cecil Harvey must collect adamantite, and give it and his Mythgraven blade to a special smith that will forge the blade for him. There's the Knights of the Round materia from 7 that features King Arthur wielding the blade in his final attack of the summon animation. To make the scope of this weapon even more impressive, this blade is featured in every single major Final Fantasy game released to date, and a lot of its spin-offs, except for the first part of the Final Fantasy XIII trilogy. Rooted in English legend and following along with the Knights of the Round materia's roots, this blade might not only be one of the most well-known Final Fantasy weapons, but also in the world on name alone. Number 4, MASAMUNE, Final Fantasy VII compilation. Much like the Excalibur, this weapon has many forms and appearances in Final Fantasy, but none more iconic than that of Sephiroth's version of the sword. This sword, 8 feet in length, is the second most iconic weapon in all of the Final Fantasy VII compilation. Its design is not necessarily that exciting, but what it means in the overall story of FF7 is what makes it so iconic. Spoilers ahead in this video. Even though this spoiler is 22 years old, it goes without saying this sword caused one of the saddest and most iconic scenes in all of Final Fantasy. The Flower Girl, the last Cetra, Aeris or Aerith, meets her untimely demise at the hands of Sephiroth, who wields this blade as he descends from the sky, thrusting the blade, killing her almost instantly. Cloud has to watch on in horror as he's helpless to stop Sephiroth from taking her life, setting up one of the most heartfelt scenes in all of gaming, and also being the catalyst for the rest of the events of the compilation. Sephiroth is also seen wielding the blade in a training cutscene with Genesis Rhapsodus and Angeal Hewley in Crisis Core. He's able to manipulate the energy of the blade to force slicing beams of light through the air, cutting through all it touches. It's not the impressiveness of the blade itself that makes this katana so iconic, it's the mastery in which it's wielded that left a lasting impression on all who witnessed its destructive power, and forever shaped the lives of countless gamers and cosplayers all around the world. Number 3, Brotherhood, Final Fantasy X. Brotherhood is a unique sword not only in design and lore, but also in how the sword functions. Tidus receives the sword from Wakka as a gift, stating that it belonged to his now deceased brother Chappu, and that he sees a lot of his brother in Tidus. The Brotherhood has a blade that has the appearance of being made of water, and when obtaining the Water Strike ability, it actually displays water and bubbles pulsing out of the weapon. Brotherhood initially features the Strength plus 5 ability, but after visiting the Far Plane and Tidus listens to Wakka speaking to the ghost of his brother, the sword receives the following upgrades: Strength plus 10, Water Strike, and Sensor. This weapon is non-upgradable to the player themselves, but the sword has a deeper meaning than just a weapon. Wakka views Tidus like a brother, and their brother-like relationship unlocks the sword's full potential after a critical moment between the two. Even though Wakka knows that Tidus will never really replace his brother, having Tidus around makes the pain more bearable. This creates deep character development that the series is known for, all while making a beginning weapon mean more than just a throwaway toy to a more leveled up character. It's arguably the most powerful non-upgradable weapon that is not his celestial weapon, the Calidbolg. Number 2, the Gunblade, Final Fantasy VIII. One of the more, if not the most unique weapon in all of Final Fantasy, the Gunblade only has 2 known wielders in the lore of Final Fantasy VIII, Squall Leonhart and Seifer Almasy. Headmaster Cid of Balam Garden even remarks how amazing it is to finally have a Gunblade wielder in the Seed ranks, the military-style regiment that the Gardens or military schools train. All of Squall's weapons from here on out are all forms of or variations on the Gunblade model. Seifer's weapons never change throughout the story, but he continues to wield it masterfully, as we see in one scene he cuts the Guardian Force Odin, Final Fantasy VIII's version of summon creatures, in half. Odin is then replaced by Gilgamesh, who proceeds to defeat Seifer. The Gunblade itself has a few variations, mostly to accommodate the personal style of the wielder. Squall's appears as the mixture of a revolver and a greatsword, while Seifer's version appears as that of a handgun or even comparable to a real-world 9mm pistol and a greatsword. The two are intense rivals, which also makes these blades iconic. As the only two wielders, they are also the two fiercest rivals in all of Garden, going so far as to facially scar each other during a training exercise at the beginning of the game. It's also ironic that Seifer was inspired and even emulates the stance of Laguna Loire in the movie where he plays a gunblade-wielding warrior, who is also revealed to be Squall's biological father in the Final Fantasy VIII Ultimania. This adds an unknown fold to the rivalry between the two, which gives the fans even greater story elements to sink their teeth into. Number 1. The Buster Sword, Final Fantasy VII compilation. Maybe the most recognizable weapon in all of Final Fantasy history, not just because of pure design, but what it represents to the lore of Final Fantasy and the character of Cloud Strife. This blade has had two previous owners, all due to a sort of passing of the torch moment. Angel Hewley passed the sword on to Zack, a fellow soldier first class, in a mentor handing down the traditional blade moment. Zack then passes the sword on to Cloud as he slowly fades away to his death at the hands of the Shinra army. This was the ultimate passing of the torch, as Cloud tells Zack that he will be his living legacy. In a moment most fans dub as one of the most influential moments to the 7 compilation, Cloud then walks away, his mind fracturing and piecing together his memories with Zack, ultimately forgetting his own identity as a foot soldier in the Shinra army during the events of Crisis Core. Cloud wields the Buster Sword at the beginning of Final Fantasy VII in the now iconic train station sequence that we see as the game begins, as he also claims to be a former soldier first class. What's odd about this weapon, however, is that it's the only one of its kind in Final Fantasy VII, yet becomes fairly obsolete decently early into the game itself. Seems odd for a weapon that has so much meaning through the beginning of the compilation. It can be seen in multiple games in the series as fan service, but canonically it was placed in the ground at the site of Zack Fair's death in Advent Children, appearing covered in dirt and rusted. At the end of Advent Children Complete, however, Cloud moves a polished version of the sword over to the 5th Sector Church in remembrance of both his love for Aeris and his best friend Zack. Thank you for watching. This has been the top 5 weapons in Final Fantasy. If you liked this video, leave a like on it. Comment down in the comment section below which one of your weapons made the list, and if it didn't make the list, let me know in the comment section below. And also, don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you get notified first whenever I upload a new video or we do a live stream right here on YouTube. Again, thank you for watching, and as always, this is Soldier First Class, and I'm signing out. On to the next mission, guys. Later.